my name is HAPruitt and I'm the author of Valiant, and in this video I'm going to do a book review. Book reviews are so important. If you read Valiant, if you read my second book, Earthquaking, please review those books. Please review any books you read. It helps authors so much, more than you could ever imagine. And so please review books if you read books. The book I'm going to review today is Hunter, Valiant Book 1 in the Valiant series by Joanna White. I don't have a physical copy, and so I will put a picture of the book up beside me. So Hunter, in the book Hunter, there are hunters, and the hunters live in Zagerah, and they're genetically modified to be proficient at torturing and killing the men who are brought to Zagarah, which is a prison that is like its own deadly continent. Only men are taken captive and brought to Zagerah until Averella's brother is taken, and she decides to disguise herself as a man to get captured, find her brother, and rescue him from Zagerah. She anticipates danger and difficulties because of these hunters in here, but she doesn't expect the hunters are going to take a special interest in her, in hunting her and discovering her secret. She disguises herself as a man, and so there's something odd about her to all these hunters, and they can't figure it out, and they're very curious about her. Hunter is a very action-packed book that has kind of hints of the Hunger Games, of Milan, and the story of Moses woven into it. Joanna White very much is a fantasy author who likes to write about things that aren't normally Christian fiction and make them into Christian fiction, and so it definitely has aspects of things that you wouldn't normally find in Christian fiction, like lots of fighting, lots of gore and stuff like that, but it also has a Christian message in it, very much so. So my positives are Joanna White has a talent for writing action and fight scenes. The hunters and prisoners have so many battles all throughout the book, and they are vivid. Every strike is described, you know, you can see it happening. Especially in the last half of the book, the action was well paced and kept me hooked. In the first half, the action felt kind of drawn out sometimes, like, it just, like I said, sometimes every strike is described, and so, you know, instead of being like bam, 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 it's like slow motion kind of thingy about it. It just kind of feels a little bit drawn out sometimes. And the time in between in the first half of the book, it felt really sedate. You'd have a fight scene and then it's like, it just feels really slow and there's nothing really happening. And then there's a fight scene and there's a lot happening, but in the last half of the book, it felt more well paced. And the pacing is better as the book progresses. Also, the book has lots of characters and many side characters kind of run together because there's just so many characters. Because they felt similar to, but the hunters were pretty fascinating. The hunters all have a, well, I don't even want to tell you that because that might spoil something, but the hunters are pretty fascinating, and I really wanted to learn more about the hunters and more about who they are and what they do. And also the romance aspect, there's a romance aspect in it. Surprise, in this prison full of crazy people killing each other, there's a romance aspect. I thought it would happen, so it didn't surprise me. And so I was kind of sad that it was obvious, but I appreciated how the romance was done and why it was developed. It came about because of camaraderie, not typical romance reasons, and so I appreciated that. Also, in Hunter, I appreciated the themes, the Christian themes of forgiveness and friendship. The hunters were really bad dudes, and although the killing was too intense at times for me. It was too much described, it was too intense, it was very vivid. But if it didn't have that, then it would not have had that aspect of the forgiveness and how God's grace is so amazing. The greater the sinner, the greater the grace, you know, and that very much shows that in Hunter. And it also shows that God truly forgives if we truly seek forgiveness. So I like that. And the Christian message was clear, but also felt like a natural part of the book. Like, there's all these guys who are hopeless and have nothing left in this terrible, awful prison, and they just naturally start talking about the good things in their life before they came there, and it was like God and the songs they used to sing, and they start talking about God, and some ask like, well, if God exists, how could this happen? And so it was very natural, and it felt very much part of the book. And so overall, I give Hunter 4 stars. It was a good book. Like I said, the killing was like too intense for me at times. It was just too much. I'm not into that. I'm kind of tender. But for anyone who likes a lot of action, a lot of suspense, a lot of fight scenes, you know, this is your book. And also wants a Christian message, this is your book. And so that is my review of the book Hunter book 1 in the Valiant series. Book 2, I think when I'm doing this video, book 2 is out already. It's called Shifter. And so check those books out. They are by Joanna White. Here's a little bit more information. So once again, I want to say thank you for watching my book review of Hunter, and please review books, whether it be Hunter or Anathalion or the second book in the Anathalion series, Earthquaking. Please review books if you read books. It helps authors so much. So thank you for watching. Bye! If you want to know more about Anathalion or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anathalion. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anathalion. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anathalion, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anathalion is. The website is HAPruitt.com.